Throughout history, the strategies governing combat known as the rules of engagement have evolved to balance military effectiveness with ethical constraints. While these rules may seem purely tactical or politically driven, many principles find surprising parallels in the natural world. Animal psychology and feeding behaviors offer profound insights into aggression, territorial disputes, and the delicate balance between survival and restraint. From ancient warfare to modern combat, military strategies often mirror the biological instincts seen in nature. Predatory efficiency, territorial disputes, signaling tactics, and hierarchical feeding behaviors are all integral to survival in the animal kingdom, just as they are in the art of war. This article explores the intricate relationship between animal behavior and the foundational principles of military engagement, highlighting how nature's laws have influenced human warfare. Instincts of combat. The biological basis of engagement. Animals, much like human armies, operate within structured behavioral patterns when it comes to confrontation. Predators rarely engage in reckless violence, just as soldiers adhere to defined protocols during battle. The primary motivations, self-preservation, securing resources, and maintaining dominance, are mirrored in military engagement principles. Territorial control and avoidance of unnecessary conflict. Territorial disputes are among the most common causes of aggression in nature. Wolves, lions, birds of prey, and even insects establish defined boundaries to avoid continuous combat. Instead of engaging in constant battle, they use signals, vocalizations, postures, and scent markings to deter invaders without resorting to outright violence. This behavior aligns with modern military protocols that prioritize deterrence, strategic posturing, and escalation control rather than immediate confrontation. Nations often use military drills, the positioning of troops along borders, and verbal warnings to signal strength without necessarily provoking direct warfare. Just as a wolf's howl warns others to stay away, a country's military exercises signal dominance and readiness to engage if provoked. Historical examples include the Cold War-era doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD, where nuclear-armed nations engaged in brinkmanship, using displays of power rather than direct conflict, maintained stability. Much like in the animal kingdom, military forces seek to secure their territory while minimizing actual engagement. Predatory efficiency, precision in attack. Carnivorous predators such as lions, eagles, and sharks do not hunt indiscriminately. Their attacks are highly calculated, often targeting the weakest or most vulnerable prey to ensure minimal energy expenditure. This principle has influenced military strategy for centuries. Precision strikes, surgical airstrikes, and targeted engagements reduce collateral damage while maximizing tactical effectiveness. Special forces operations, drone warfare, and sniper missions mirror the selective targeting seen in nature. Instead of engaging the entire enemy force, modern armies prioritize key figures, infrastructure, and supply chains similar to how a lion may isolate the weakest gazelle rather than expend energy chasing the ball. Entire herd. A historical example is the targeted assassination of high-value military figures, such as Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto during World War II. By eliminating key leaders, armies can destabilize their opponents without engaging in large-scale warfare. This tactical approach reflects the efficient hunting techniques of predators who strike only when necessary, avoiding unnecessary expenditure of resources. Feeding hierarchies and resource competition. Food scarcity in nature breeds competition. Apex predators consume what they need but leave portions for scavengers, ensuring the sustainability of the food chain. This principle echoes resource control in wartime, where armies may secure food, fuel, or supplies while leaving essential provisions untouched to prevent unnecessary suffering among civilians. The rules of engagement prohibit scorched earth tactics in modern warfare strategies where armies deliberately destroy all resources, leaving populations to starve. Ethical engagement rules aim to protect non-combatants, just as nature regulates consumption among predators and prey. An example from military history is the Geneva Convention's prohibition on targeting civilian food supplies. Much like how predators avoid collapsing an entire ecosystem, military leaders recognize the importance of preserving stability for post-conflict recovery. Signaling and psychological warfare intimidation tactics are widespread in the animal kingdom. A bear standing on its hind legs, a cobra flaring its hood, or an owl puffing up its feathers all serve as warning signals to potential threats. These behaviors minimize actual conflict by discouraging enemies from attacking. Similarly, militaries employ psychological warfare to dissuade enemies without direct confrontation. Threat displays, warning shots, and aerial maneuvers serve the same function as an animal marking its territory. A final attempt to avoid escalation before engagement occurs. One striking historical example is the use of blitzkrieg tactics during World War II. The sheer speed and force of the German military's rapid advancements into enemy territory created a psychological shockwave, leading to demoralization and surrender without prolonged battles. This mirrors the way predators use intimidation and speed to scatter prey before attacking directly. The ethical balance between survival and restraint, despite the primal nature of combat, animals also exhibit restraint. Some predators engage in non-lethal sparring to establish dominance without killing, while others avoid fights they deem unnecessary. Similarly, military rules of engagement establish clear limitations to prevent excessive force, uphold humanitarian principles, and preserve long-term stability. Non-lethal conflict resolution in nature and warfare. Many animals, including primates and large herbivores, engage in ritualistic displays or non-lethal combat to resolve conflicts. Gorillas pound their chests, bucks lock antlers, and elephants engage in pushing contests rather than attempting to kill one another outright. These behaviors reflect the military practice of deterrence and de-escalation. In modern warfare, non-lethal engagements often take the form of warning shots, strategic blockades, or diplomatic pressure rather than full-scale war. The Cuban Missile Crisis provides a clear example. Both the United States and the Soviet Union displayed military strength without initiating direct violence. The crisis was resolved through negotiation rather than combat, mirroring how dominant animals use display behaviors rather than outright aggression. Rules of engagement and the natural order. Many aspects of military conduct stem from evolutionary survival mechanisms seen in nature. The jus in bello principles governing warfare, proportionality, distinction between combatants and civilians, and limitation of unnecessary suffering can be compared to survival strategies in the animal kingdom. Military decision-making often weighs the cost of engagement against potential loss, just as predators evaluate whether a hunt is worth the energy. The rules of engagement ensure that wars do not devolve into chaotic violence but remain governed by strategy and ethics. One striking parallel is the balance of force in predator-prey relationships. Just as wolves limit their aggression to maintain their pack's long-term survival, nations carefully weigh their military actions to avoid prolonged conflict. Military strategists understand that unrestricted warfare leads to instability, much like unchecked predation can result in ecosystem collapse. Lessons from nature. Warfare as an evolutionary strategy. The study of animal psychology and feeding behaviors provides valuable insights into human conflict. Military rules of engagement reflect many evolutionary survival strategies, from territorial defense and intimidation tactics to precision in attack and resource preservation. Ultimately, warfare, like nature, is not about reckless destruction but about strategy, control, and restraint. While combat is an undeniable aspect of human history, the most successful military tactics often align with the principles that govern survival in the wild. As we continue to refine ethical engagement protocols, the lessons from nature remind us that war is not merely about power. It is about understanding the balance between aggression and restraint, dominance and AI. Coexistence.